All right, what's going on? So I have to apologize again about not getting more videos out because just as soon as we launched our first video for 24, our family got really sick. Not sure. I think my dad may have brought in the sickness originally, but who really knows? But Range got sick. He was out of school for a week. About the time he started feeling better, Cassie got sick. Then Blair got sick. Then I got sick.
But Sada didn't get sick, so that's fine.
Sada didn't get sick,
so that's fine.
But it put me and Range was down. He was out of school for an entire week, and he's still a little puny about it. And it put me on my butt. So for Cassie's birthday, I got to lay in the bed while she catered to me.
That's right. So let's take the time right now to wish Cassie a happy birthday.
Yep,
in the comments, happy birthday, Cassie.
Happy belated birthday to my beautiful wife who took care of me and the businesses while I was down.
She did. She jumped on the social media. I saw it.
I was down. I was in bed Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Didn't do much Monday or Tuesday, so it was pretty brutal for me.
Yeah.
And I'm now playing catch up for what we got going on, because guess what we got to do? Hopefully y'all see this before, but Friday and Saturday we'll be in Knoxville, Tennessee, doing the Run It Reptile Expo auction. So not going to want to miss that.
So all our friends in Knoxville, hey there, how you doing? I'm not going to be there. I'll be at work.
Yeah.
Sada will be with me. She's staring at me through the window right now. So she gets to spend a week with me. So it's going to be fun. And remember, I told Tony this before, the rest of you that go on there ordering things and then go, oh, I'll give it to Craig as a pet. No, unless it's a ball python.
Yeah.
No more other pets for Craig. I got enough. Yeah. Ball pythons only.
So Craig really appreciates all the gifts.
I do. I love it. I do.
There becomes a point where there's enough mouths to feed.
Yeah, I'm starting to have to take in enough of people's animals that they can't take care of, and that I'm going to start needing people to take some of my animals I can't take care of. Yeah. So yeah, no more of that unless it's a ball python. Plenty of room for them. Or merch. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take shirts.
Yeah, I'll take shirts all day long.
Or hats. Or sunglasses.
Or sunglasses. Ooh, sunglasses.
Or shoes.
Who makes sunglasses?
I don't know. Just an idea.
Dr. Pepper Red. That's how we do it.
All right. So today's video, I do want to put some viewer discretion into this. If you have young kids, probably, depending on how your lifestyle is, they may not need to watch this. If you have a sick stomach, you probably, or not a sick stomach, what do they call it?
Queasy, weak, empathetic to things.
Probably not going to watch this. We are going to show the insides of an animal. So viewer discretion is advised.
There you go.
However fancy term you would like to put that.
Graphic content.
Graphic content is coming. So, we officially have a snake here with a name other than Cheeto.
Right.
So the second animal to be named in our facility, we call her Miracle. And you're about to learn why she is called Miracle. So I am going to show you her. Then we're going to backdate her story. So let's get her out, take a look at her for a second. Then I'll tell you the story. All right, so this is the ball python that we have named Miracle. And as you can tell, she is a healthy, breathing, beautiful ball python.
And she's feisty. So
genetically, yes, she is quite spicy. She has a dislike for Cassie especially. But so genetically, this is a blackhead fire inchy leopard pied. She is a visual pied. She was produced from a super inchy fire leopard pied to a black-eyed pied. So a little back history on that. I actually produced the mom to this animal, a black-eyed pied female, and the mom has been one of my favorite animals that I've ever produced. So that adds a little bit more to this story. So really cool, super spicy girl. So let's put her up and show y'all how she came to be alive. So we've got today is January
9th, 8th, 29.
And we're gonna back all the way up till September 19th of 2023.
Okay.
And that is when Miracle came out of the egg, because she didn't technically hatch, and I'll get to that in a second. Because earlier in the week, so this would have been September 16th, 15th, 16th, okay. 17th, her siblings hatched. And, you know, I cut eggs here, so I could tell that Miracle was still in the egg, and she was alive. Mm-hmm. You know, she was moving, doing things, but she had her head out of the egg, but that's it. Like, none of the rest of her body was coming out. And I decided on September 19th to intervene. I noticed the inside of the egg that none of her yolk had been absorbed. And for those that don't know what the yolk is, in these eggs, you have a snake, and they basically have a yolk. Normally it sits on the bottom of the egg, and all of that yolk is usually absorbed through a belly button, umbilical cord. All of that yolk goes up into the body.
And that's how they get their nutrients.
And that's basically all their food and nutrients after they hatch. That's all inside of them, and the body sews that back up naturally, and that's how you have healthy snakes.
So for those of you that don't know, we've said it before, snakes have belly buttons.
They do.
They do.
So, this particular animal had not absorbed the yolk, which sometimes some snakes can be later than others. Just because you have a bunch of them that hatch does not necessarily mean that she can't be later and everything's going to be fine. But I have enough experience with animals. I mean, I've hatched thousands of ball pythons. I knew something wasn't right. I could tell by the way that the animal was acting inside the egg. The yolk was not being absorbed at all. The vein color inside of the egg. There are many different factors. I knew something was not right with this animal. Little did I know what was about to happen. I did not expect, but I knew something wasn't right. So previously, if I've had an animal like this that didn't absorb the yolk, I have been able to manually remove that animal with the yolk. We can put it in a small deli cup with a wet paper towel, and most of the time they'll still absorb some of that yolk, and then we can pinch it, cut the yolk off. The animal usually survives. It's just smaller. It gets to eating. We put some weight on it, sell it to customers, and never have any problems.
So kind of like if you cut the umbilical cord off the baby.
Exactly
same thing.
Same principle.
Same thing.
Something's wrong with the baby, human baby. The doctors would go in, remove the baby from the mama, and then you just nurture that baby back to health, and it grows up to be, most of the time grows up to be, a perfectly fine human being. Same principle. We just intervene. So that's what I decided that I was going to do. I prepared my deli cup, got my white paper towel, dampened it. I was expecting to wash the animal off in the sink with the yolk attached to the animal and put it in this deli cup put it back in the incubator like I've done hundreds of times. When I removed the animal from the egg, I realized that this was not the typical removing an animal from an egg that still needed to absorb yolk.
Okay.
This animal, which we're about to show you, so again, viewer discretion is advised, hatched with its heart outside of its body. Mm. And as you are about to see in this video, the heart is thumping, blood is moving in and out of the heart. Everything about the heart is as is it should be. It's just formed on the outside of the body. And there are humans and other animals that have had this happen before as well, where basically the heart is just out here instead of being on the inside. Everything is in position where it's supposed to be in the body, except for the heart. You know,
it just happens
on the outside.
Yeah.
It's just Mother Nature's did not form this particular animal, with the heart inside like it's supposed to be. It was formed outside. So Cassie will drop this video right here, and as you can tell, the blood is going in and out of this heart. The heart is thumping. Not only is it thumping, but it's pumping and doing exactly what it's supposed to be. So I do want to give you a little bit of back history about myself and my wife. My wife was a nurse up until she had range. She's been to school. She's helped sew people up, given medicine, things like this. I am a former EMT. I have a good bit of knowledge about, basic medical procedures, and even more so than an EMT, I'm a redneck.
So if you hadn't done self-surgery, you ain't from the South.
I've sewed myself up many times, and I've also sewed up a lot of animals, cows, horses, dogs. I've done a good bit of animal surgery. Down in the South, we hunt with dogs. Dogs get cut while they're hunting. We sew dogs up on the go. I am not a vet. I do not recommend trying to do what I've done that you're about to see, or that my wife has done that you're about to see. Looking back, I don't know that I would have done anything different. I just would have been prepared. I was not prepared for this.
Right.
Again, I don't have a medical facility. I'm not a vet. I do not recommend that the average person can do this. I'm just telling you and showing you a story about an animal that we were lucky enough to be able to save with the materials that we had on hand. And I'm probably going to get drilled, oh, you're not a vet, you shouldn't do this. This animal was going to die.
Yeah.
Or I was going to step in and try to keep it alive.
Right. And we don't have a vet in this area that works on exotic animals.
No, that we don't.
I mean, I have one in Statesboro, maybe.
And
maybe.
They wouldn't even consider
it. Yeah, and that's just something that, it is what it is.
They don't have the ability to put a newborn snake that's 16 grams to sleep to do a surgery like this.
Yes.
So, and I hate that I even have to say all this, but it's just the truth of the matter is, what I done was only done because I felt like that's what needed to be done. And that's basically the only choice I had to try to keep this animal alive.
Yeah. Which,
for some reason, God allowed this animal to not only be surviving, but actually thriving currently. So, moving on. As you can tell in the video that Cassie just dropped, heart's thumping, it's beating, blood's moving, everything about this heart is functioning as it should. I made the decision very quickly, and let me put this in a scenario. I was out here by myself in the snake room. The animal was on this table here. Matter of fact, our kids are out of school. It's late at night or later at night. Cassie and the kids are inside. I don't remember all the details, but I made the decision when I pulled this animal out of the egg that I was putting this heart back into this body. There was not anything going to stop me from trying to keep this animal alive. and I made the decision. I mean, it wasn't even really a decision. It's just that's what we're about to do. Once I made that decision, then I had to figure out how. So I take the animal to the sink. I wash it up, clean it up real good. I already had the deli cup, so I went ahead and put the animal in the deli cup just to have it where it's in something secure and not moving around a lot. And I go inside and I show Cassie what's going on.
That's right.
For those that don't know, Cassie doesn't really like messing with the snakes too much. But she instantly knew, all right, if Tony wants to cut this animal and put this heart back in and sew it up, she steps up to the plate. Cassie doesn't like holding snakes, but she knew that this had to be done.
Right.
You know, there was no
if, ands,
there was oh man, I really don't want to touch it. You know, it's whatever. Let's do what we got to do.
It's a life that needs to be taken care of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we didn't have anything. You know, I don't have scalpels. I don't have a surgery table.
You got a pocket knife and some fishing string.
I didn't even have any fishing string.
Yeah.
I had. Here's what I did have. And y'all know.
There you go. That's how you do it.
Y'all know I keep these razor blades on hand. And y'all know why I keep these razor blades on hand. So I'm going to set this here for just a second. And what else do I have laying around?
Don't tell me you didn't zip tie it, did you?
No zip ties.
No.
But because we work on leather.
Oh yeah, so you got all kind of damn like stitch materials.
We have string.
So you got string. I was assuming you were going to use dental floss.
And it didn't run. Dental floss didn't run through my head. Yeah. Although it would have been more ideal than.
So you used some string that you use on hide and stuff like that.
I used some sinew.
Okay. Oh well, there you go. That's natural.
So we use sinew and basically leather stitching needles. We just use new, very sharp needles, and then that's what we did. So the other thing that I want to point out is this is not a scalpel by any means.
No.
However, if y'all knew how many of these I've thrown away in my lifetime, I could probably fill this entire room up. I'm very knowledgeable with razor blade, and a lot of y'all are thinking drugs. Doesn't have anything to do with drugs. No. In a body shop, this is a tool that I am very familiar with. If you've seen me in a body shop, a lot of times I'd be walking around like this. Mm-hmm. I carried a razor blade in my mouth constantly. Now, probably not the smartest thing to do, but in a body shop, I'm constantly using a razor blade.
You're having to use it for anything to do. We even have detailers that use like razor blades for things.
Cleaning windows, cleaning bondos, scraping paint, scraping clear runs and sags off a clear coat to buff out. You know, a razor blade is just, I'm very knowledgeable with a single edge razor blade.
Obviously, we don't know how to use them on our face.
True.
But we do know how to use them in other means.
And when I got into the snake business, cutting eggs, this is my choice of how I cut eggs. And the reason why I use this because I've used one my whole life. It's like an extension of my fingers. So I'm very knowledgeable with single blade razor blade. This is the only razor blade that I have. Only thing I have. So I want to point out something about the video. Cassie can drop that same video of the heart beating again. I want you to look at the fusion of the skin. So basically what you have is, I'll try not to use my tattoos here.
Yeah.
Basically what you have is a fusion of the skin, and you have arteries coming out of this fusion with the heart out here. You can see this in the video. So what happened was not only is the heart and the arteries and veins and stuff that are going to the heart, but the skin and the scales have attached themselves back together. So there is no gap.
No, you can't just push it in.
Right. You can't just push all this back in. There is no gap. This is fused together. So that causes a major issue here,
Mm-hmm.
because what I had to do with this razor blade is I had to cut arteries away from the skin around all of this where the skin had fused itself together. So I had to cut right up against these arteries. Now keep in mind, if I had cut one of these arteries,
Yeah.
there is no going back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not prepared to sew up
An artery. There's no way to do it. We don't have anything small enough.
I don't have any form, method, any way to do this.
It's not like you can solder it back together.
Also, keep in mind that this animal is not sedated.
No, it's wiggling.
She did not wiggle.
Really?
This animal.
She knew you were trying to help her.
This animal almost felt like she knew that we were trying to save her life. She didn't move the entire time. Upside down, did not move. Crazy. I got chill bumps even thinking about it. So very, very precisely, I used a straight edge razor blade, and I cut around those arteries so that the arteries were free moving. Then I had to make incisions longer so that you had an area to expand open to be able to push all this back in. So the second video, Cassie will drop now, and it shows how far out I had to go.
So you basically had to crack your chest open like you're doing
Exactly.
open heart surgery, but your open heart surgery is on the outside.
Right.
There you go.
So you can see in the second video that how far the had to go. So, but the good news is I did not nick any arteries. Cassie was right there helping me hold this animal. The animal was not even budging. And, you know, by the grace of God, nothing went wrong with the actual cutting part of this surgery. So, we cut it out wide enough, got the arteries detached from the fused skin, and slipped the heart right back into the body. The cavity that the heart normally sits in was there, was just as it was supposed to be. Thank God, you know, I didn't have to remove anything from inside the body or anything like that. The heart just literally just fell right into place. It felt exactly where it was supposed to be, because I really don't know where a snake's heart. I've never seen a snake's heart,
right.
So I don't know what it's supposed to look like, but it felt like it just dropped right into place. And then the stitching process. So we stitched up the animal the best we could at the time. And, you know, if we're looking back, I wish we had stitched a little bit better. But that's when we started. The animal didn't like to be stitched.
I don't think anybody likes to be stitched.
It had no problem being cut, but the stitching process, I think the pulling of the skin, that tension, the animal started moving around. So the stitching wasn't real great. Cassie can drop the picture that we have
Excuse me.
of it once we finished stitching. And then it was just a matter of keeping her clean. So we kept her in a tub, FB5 tub on paper towel and water, and I kept her clean. A lot of people are probably going to ask about any sort of solution or anything that you know, we used during the process. We didn't use any solution. We didn't use any sort of antiseptic or you know, anything to keep that clean.
Right.
It was just out the egg, washed, put onto a clean paper towel. Surgery was basically done.
We did wash our hands.
Oh, wash your hands. You know, and then put it into a clean FB5 on a white paper towel, and then that's all we done. I really thought about using peroxide and Neosporin and things like that, but I've learned over the years from messing with animals that a lot of times, as long as it's clean and you keep it clean and no infection shows up, it's really best just to
Leave it be.
leave it be. And a lot of people may disagree with that, but that's just my personal opinion. And that's what we doing. I say but this snake, the kids came out, checked on it. Cassie even came, checked out on it. My parents would come by and check on it. Like, this snake was a big ordeal because we put so much effort and time
to keeping it
alive that now it's almost like a staple of our family.
Right.
Like, it was.
So it's a pet.
Family.
It's pretty much a pet now.
Effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. She'll never be for sale. And you know, Art, even Range, still remembers it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Daddy, is this snake okay? And he remembers it, even though it was just a few months ago. But I don't think that they'll ever forget that.
Right.
Now, looking back, should I have done something different? I don't know.
I wish we had suture material.
And we still haven't bought any suture material and or scalpels, but they are on the list to purchase. Just because, you know, we have needles and
I mean, you never know,
medicines and things that we have for our kids and the animals, but we don't have sutures and scalpels, and that's something that we need to add to our medical packs.
I mean, it could be as simple as a rat biting a snake. We've all had that happen.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
True.
I mean, you got to have a first aid kit for yourself and a first aid kit for your pets.
Yep.
You know?
You know, God forbid the world turns into a worse place and, you know, your kid gets cut and you have to do some sort of, you know, stitching on your kid or yourself.
My grandma stitched me up.
So, yeah. I've stitched myself many times.
That's what happens when you open the cat food can wrong. My grandma stitched me up while I was passing out.
Not the cat.
Passing out.
Yep.
And stitched me up over her kitchen sink.
We were born in a different world.
Yeah.
But, you know, anyway, I hope I don't get drilled for this video. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people say, well, yeah, you know, you didn't do
well,
this.
I mean, the only other option is, people, honestly, if it happened to you and you didn't do it, your snake would end up in the trash can. I mean, that's what the majority of the world would do. So there's no reason to fuss about somebody trying to keep an animal alive when 90% of the world would just go, oh well, and just throw it in the trash can.
Yeah.
Or they would feed it to something else.
Yeah, I do believe that most people would not have given it the effort. I do believe that most people would not have been able to do.
Correct.
Mainly with the razor blade.
Yeah.
Being able to I've tattooed and I've done a lot of things. I make knives, you know, and being able to hold steady,
piercings,
and true, and being knowledgeable with this razor blade, you know, I felt really confident doing it. Most people probably would not have been able to do that.
Most people would have left it alone and it would just died and suffered.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the next thing I want to show you is one of her siblings, who is currently available.
Okay.
And just to give you a size reference on how much she has caught up with everybody. What I didn't mention also, or I may have mentioned, because of all of this, she didn't get to absorb any of her yolk.
Right.
So not only did she have to deal with being cut open, stitched up, she also didn't have any nutrients in her body.
So you had a syringe feeder?
So nope.
No? Okay.
We gave her an appropriate amount of time. She never shed. She never had her first shed. All the rest of the babies were 2 or 3 meals in. I decided to start feeding her mouse fuzzies.
Okay.
So I assist fed her 1, maybe 2 mouse fuzzies. Never missed a meal since.
That's all it takes.
So we got her going with an assist feed, and she eats on her own. She's never been assist feed since then, and she's already on little rat pups.
There you go.
So, but just to give you a size comparison. All right, so this is a sibling. This is a Inchy Fire Blackhead Pied girl. She is currently available. if anybody's interested. But this, this animal hatched fine, normal size, has eaten fine, normal size baby for, September hatchling. And then this is Miracle. So you can tell she's a little bit smaller, but she is catching up nicely. As you can tell, she's a little bit smaller, but doing quite well. Since we have her out again, we will let you look at her battle score, which is
3 months, 4 months healed.
Quite nice. It looks
Yeah.
quite nice. So again, no medicine or any sort of cleaning solution. This is just all natural healing process. So now you know the story of Miracle.
That's something. See, that's
Pretty
something.
cool. So hope y'all enjoyed this. I know it was long.
But it's just one of those things that, people don't talk about and need to be talked about. I mean, that's a special snake.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm super proud to. I wish it was a male, to be honest. I'd really like to get some offspring off these genetics, but I'm still super happy to have her, and one day, if she keeps growing and doing what she's doing now, one day she may sit on eggs for us.
There you go.
So how cool would that be?
That's right.
But,
We've made it where she can have a healthy, happy, life.
Yep. So, all right. Appreciate y'all watching. See y'all next time.